Reintroduce and we'll get going. Okay, hello everyone. Hello Twitch and YouTube, and welcome to another Planet Coaster stream. I've been for the last few days just kind of tinkering around on this park that I started putting together, I don't know, late last week, I want to say. And I've basically just been treating it like I've kind of been treating it like sort of a hobby car. I'm kind of just continually tinkering on the same little part, making it more and more and more detailed. And as you can see, I don't have a lot built yet. um, because I've just been focusing so much on this one little part. But let's quickly take a look at what I have been doing. Let me give it a more picturesque time of day here. Oh, how's 6 p.m. look? Starting to be a nice time of day, sunset. So, as you can see, I have this facade itself has not changed much since I last streamed. I think there might be a little more detail, but what has changed is that I created a little moat here, and I added some more lighting so that you get those really great reflections of the lights in the water. I added a ton of vegetation, trees, rocks, ivy climbing the walls, and then I kind of, oops, this area is kind of wacky right now because I changed it, but I've sort of put a kind of wall of trees in there to hide the fact that this castle isn't a real castle, it's just a facade. And then you can see the other side, and we've got this more alpine tree line here. Doesn't really make sense, I guess, that there's totally different kinds of trees on that side and that side, but why not? And then here I just have some egregious theme park stuff where I have these two trees kind of flanking the pathways you go in over the moat, and they're just obnoxiously lit up from behind a rock, which is just a totally classic theme park thing. Just put some colored lights behind a rock so that people generally can't see it. And I love how sort of just fake and cheesy that is. So anyway, you can walk in through, these are the fare gates right here for the park. You can go in. This area is not super highly decorated, but there, oops, I guess I never finished putting the icons on the other side of the wall, but there are these sort of candelabras and little this iconography. It's not super dense in here because it's just a pathway. You walk out in here, and you can see on the right you have a bathroom with a animatronic dragon on top. On the left is this little first aid building because people were complaining about not having that. And then if you turn around, here is my train station. So you can walk up the stairs, and I love having the train station on top of the facade. I think it's so cool. The train, where is the train? It must be going through the, yep, there it is, coming out of the mountain. And you know what I actually wanted, maybe the next thing I'm going to do right now, real quickly, is put some lights inside here pointing at where the train is when the train is here. Because one thing I've noticed is that when you're down in the sort of main street of the park, you can see the train, but once it gets later at night, like let's say it's 10 p.m., the train is technically visible, but you can't really see it very easily because it just kind of blends in to everything. So let me actually pause the game so I can just have the train permanently here, and let's just kind of put some just straight up lights illuminating this train so that also I want people to be able to see it from here. It's actually easier to see from outside the park, which is fine because it's sort of an enticing, cool detail. It's just that it's not really lit very well. So let's do that. Let's just go ahead and put some lights down on this thing. Okay. And this is the kind of stuff you can, as you can tell, just from looking at the park that I've just been getting really, really into. Because I love this stuff so much. you can see I have a lot of those sort of. I didn't show you this new part. This is my new little favorite part of the park, actually. So right when you get in through the facade, you can kind of head over just through this little path. No one goes here because there's no actual rides. Also, a couple people walking through. But I love this little area. There's just a little pond, and oh, the game's paused, so the waterfalls aren't running. So let me unpause the game. And you can see there's just kind of a little waterfall. Waterfalls are not great in this game. You have to sort of fake them out of water jets. During the day, actually, the waterfall looks better. But you can see I have this little, sort of just little area with this tree. I have these hanging flower lights in the tree that kind of make it look like some kind of fairy tale thing. Really highly landscaped area. Lots of carefully placed rocks, shrubbery, bushes all throughout here. You can see there isn't the parts that have landscape. There isn't even default grass. Like even that, I covered up with this sort of ground growth. You can see the difference between that landscaping and the default grass, which is a lot less attractive. So, and then you can see this whole area is sort of illuminated, and we have uplighting on the tree to kind of make it a nice focal point. And then during the daytime, you can actually get a much better. The waterfall looks a lot nicer in the day, as you can see. This I kind of made this because it sort of reflects my favorite stuff. Oh, and then also at night, there's just again some sort of just indulgent lighting on this little iconography, just so that when you're over here, no matter what direction you look, there's some nice stuff that is drawing your eye. Except for this area, because I haven't built out this building yet. That's going to be hopefully my first interior ride. And then when you're up here and you look down, you can actually see that on top of this first aid station is a sleeping dragon who, once again, is just illuminated for no reason other than it looks cool. So when you come into the park, you can sort of see a hint that there's some kind of creature or something up there. And then when you go up here, you can see what it is. I figured since we have this high altitude part of the park, we should get a little kind of visual bonus for it. Anyway, the thing I was going to say about this area is that it sort of reflects a lot of my favorite elements of the design of Disneyland, which is just that there are parts of the park that are not rides, and they're not stores or anything. They're just little places that someone designed, and they're just really beautiful and charming, and usually, actually, even in a place as busy as Disneyland, usually quite isolated and kind of intimate, because they just don't draw as many people because there aren't rides there. Tokyo Disney Sea in Tokyo, obviously, has even more of that stuff, and I absolutely love it. That park is super crowded, and yet there are a lot of areas that are just totally depopulated and beautiful and charming and quiet and secluded, and it's just great. I just love it. So anyway, you can come back out of this side and get back onto the main path, and then here you have our kind of little centerpiece ride for this Main Street section of town with the animatronic knights. And I made this is what I made in my previous stream with all of this landscaping around here. And this is actually the thing that put me on the landscaping kick, was making this really densely dense foliage here around that. So anyway, let's go put some lights on the train. I'm going to speed up the game so we can quickly, so the train can get back over here and I can just leave it here as reference. And I didn't show you guys the mountain, but it's because there's not really much going on over there yet. All right, so that's the resting place of the train. Leon Artime says, really goes to show how much thought per square inch must go into Disneyland. Yeah, that is absolutely my favorite thing about the Disney parks, is just how much care and attention goes into every part of them. I just think it's just really wonderful and inspirational and charming. Okay, let's see. So the train already has a lot of color on it, so I maybe don't really need colored lights. Oh yeah, see, that already makes a really big difference to be able to just sort of light up the train car there. So, oops, let's bring that out so it's not completely colliding or being occluded. And then I'm just going to put a few more of these down. I wish there were a way to control the intensity of these lights, because I want the one on the locomotive to be really bright, but I don't necessarily want all the ones on the cars. Like, I don't want to necessarily be shining a super bright light into people's eyes. So I wish there were a way you could do that, but I don't think there actually is. Which is too bad. Yeah, you can adjust the color. I mean, I guess if you make the color a little warmer, it sort of naturally makes it less intense. Like the pure white is really intense. What does it mean if a light is black? I guess just nothing really. I Spill My Drink says, can you build poles to put them on? Yeah, I mean, you could just build a pole and then, like, things can float technically. I mean, I don't do that because I want stuff to be at least basically plausible. But yeah, I mean, you could just put it here and then put a pole underneath it. The problem with that is then you'd see it from down here, and I kind of like guests being able to see lights if they look for them, because I don't want to make it just sort of fantastical and not realistic, but I like the idea of trying, as they do in theme parks, to sort of try and obscure the light fixtures themselves so that they aren't just super obvious. This is not ideal because actually what I should do, since this light is so intensely bright, is I should just do them all at an angle and cover more of the train with each light. And that kind of will diffuse the light a little bit. So maybe like one car per light. And yeah, I think that works better. Oops. Yeah, that's not quite as intense. All right, yeah, that's a lot better. So that definitely draws your eye a lot more from down here. And it won't make any difference when the train's gone because the light will just be kind of pointing off into space. So let me just copy and paste these three lights, and I'll put them on the other side. Selecting stuff in this game I find to be very difficult. There we go. Oh shit! I forgot you can't do sort of click by click multi-selection when you're not in a building, and I don't really know why. If you're editing a building, it's possible to use control click to multi-select a bunch of objects, but if you're not inside a building, you just can't do that. And I don't know why, and I find it very, very frustrating, because I very often want to do that. I would just build these lights into the building itself. The thing is, they're not actually really part of the building. They're really part of the train ride. So if I ever, for instance, put this facade on the workshop, I wouldn't want stuff that is specific to the train ride to be carried along with it, because there's no reason you have to put a train on top of this facade. It was originally built without the train, so. And then just one more for the locomotive. is already kind of getting some bounce light, but that's okay. Leon Artime says, in real life, those lights would be absolutely obnoxious to the guests. Yeah, I know. I would ideally have really soft lights that would not be quite so intense. And you know what? I guess what you'd really want to do is, if you're really doing it in a cool way, you would have them maybe fade up and down depending on. Oops, what happened to my other light over here? Depending on the loading, whether the train is loading or not. I don't know why. I thought I had one over here. I guess I must have accidentally dragged it. But yeah, as these would be extraordinarily annoying the way that I currently have them set up. Oh well. All right. Yeah, that is cool. So the thing that I was trying to start yesterday, I think I have to take a new approach to it. Let me turn it back to daytime so it's a little easier to see. What I was going to do, and I might have to sort of rethink this, I was going to have an exterior facade building out here, and then inside of it is this track ride, and I was going to make an interior ride that's kind of goes underground. Well, this isn't really underground. This is just slightly sunk in a little bit, but then has a section that curves around and then actually does go deeper underground. I wanted to make basically my version of a Mr. Toad's Wild Ride from Fantasyland and Disneyland, and then it emerges back out of the ground. This would all be the idea was that this would all be actually interior, and then goes back into the building. And the idea would be that I could still then build more stuff over here. And then the other idea would be that this area would be built up into a hill that kind of extends over to this side of the castle. So the train would actually exit the castle basically onto raised ground, and then I would have the train actually taper down over the hill as the hill kind of tapers off, and then most of the train is actually closer to ground level. Because I realized that having the train elevated the entire way, I just realized I don't actually want that to be the case. And being efficient with use of space is something that's really important in theme parks. And so I figured, well, I could have a ride that is basically going on underneath other stuff over in this side of the park, so we can still have things happening over in this part of the park. But I sort of built this whole facade before I really took into account what actually needs to happen with this ride. So I think what I'm going to do is just delete this whole ride. I am going to smooth over this terrain, and we're just going to do it again now, basically. So building that track was not very difficult, so this is not a lot of work that I'm throwing away. Because it auto tunnels as you build the track, so not a big deal. And I'm trying to think how I actually want to do this. I'm kind of wishing what I had done was just build only the front part of this building, then build the whole ride, then build the rest of the building on top of it, because it actually ended up being really hard to like force the ride into this exact entrance and exit. But let's give it one more shot and see what happens. So I am using the powered track ride Luna Autos for this. The other problem I had is that my loading station was too small to fit both an entrance and an exit. So that was another problem that I had. So let's put this right at the very edge back here. Or a little bit before the edge, so I have room for the wall. And then let's just start building this track. The weird thing about this track is that even when you build it at ground level, as you see, it digs out the earth, which is kind of annoying. I mean, a lot of rides seem to work that way. I kind of wish that it defaulted to whatever altitude is required to not dig through the earth, but I'm sure there are reasons they had to make it work the way it did. I don't know what they are, but I'm sure there are reasons. So, let's just get this thing going. I don't know exactly what the content of this ride is going to be yet. Like I said, oh, people are saying, what if you turn off auto tunneling? Yeah, it's a good idea, actually. I guess I can let me just undo this all. Okay. So, first thing I'm actually going to do is extend the length of the station a little bit. Just to there, I think. Just to give myself a little bit more room for the entrance and exit. And then I'll go back into here. We're going to turn off auto tunneling, so let's see what happens. Oops. Oh, look at that. Okay, I assumed it actually needed that. I totally assumed it needed that depth in the ground, but it clearly doesn't. So I do not know what I was thinking. Nice one. Thanks, folks. Good suggestion. I don't know how I managed to miss that. I love the Fantasyland style dark rides. If you have been to Disneyland, you know what I'm talking about. If you have, or any Disney park, if you have not been to Disneyland, the rides I'm talking about are basically they're from the first generation of Disneyland rides. So a lot of them date back to 1955, and they are basically slow-paced, usually entirely interior rides that. And I'm going to start auto-tunneling now because I'm going to start going down a little bit. They're usually entirely interior rides, fairly slow-paced. They're mostly in Fantasyland, so most of them have kind of fairy tale themes. A lot of them are based on classic Disney fairy tale movies. And they're just sort of slow rides where you essentially ride some kind of powered car through just whatever, through scenery, you know, a lot of it just hand-painted kind of placards and walls, and then there's a lot of just practical effects going on to sort of sell everything. And they're just really quaint and charming, and I just love them. I think they're really great. They're all theme, right? They're not sort of thrilling roller coasters at all. And theme is the stuff that I like most in Disneyland. So, this is a thing I find really hard about this game, is creating underground areas. I wish you could just sort of turn the terrain to like 50% opacity or something, because boy, this is tough. Leon Artime says, like the Pirates of the Caribbean ride. Pirates of the Caribbean is not quite what I mean. Although Pirates of the Caribbean is my single favorite ride ever. So it is a great ride. It is the best ride in my opinion. But no, the Fantasyland style dark rides are not. I don't really know how to describe the distinction. They're typically track-based, unlike Pirates of the Caribbean, which is a log flume. You know, it's a boat-based ride. What distinguishes a dark ride? this is kind of one of those things where it's like, if you know what I mean, you know what I mean. It's probably kind of a stupid distinction. Like, it's probably not actually a meaningful distinction to people who don't care about this stuff. But if you do, you just kind of know what I mean. The dark rides are a lot less sort of ambitious than something like Pirates of the Caribbean, which is an incredibly like big, huge. Like Disney basically doesn't make rides like Pirates of the Caribbean anymore. Anything that big and ambitious, one of the few examples in recent years is the Cars ride in California Adventure. That's pretty big and ambitious, but that is rare for them. The dark rides are a lot smaller. They're usually very short. They're usually only a couple minutes long. They tell a very simple, straightforward story. They're usually very kid-friendly, and they have a lot of just like, they don't have a lot of animatronics, whereas Pirates of the Caribbean is like animatronics just wall to wall. It is just non-stop crazy pirate animatronics, which is awesome. But the dark rides tend to be a lot more static, and there's sort of simple little practical visual effects going on, like a lot of stuff with lighting, things like that. What is this intersecting terrain? I don't understand what terrain is intersecting. The Jazzercise says, is dark rides the actual term? It is, actually, yeah. They're actually called dark rides because they take place pretty much exclusively, entirely inside in the dark. So all of the everything that you need to see is illuminated, so they're very sort of stylishly lit. There's kind of a theatrical feeling to them for that reason. Because everything is sort of pools of light, and things can change, lights can change, and draw your attention. Mark Hoog says, Dark Rides makes it sound so sinister. Some of them are fucking sinister. The Mr. Toad's Wild Ride is outrageous and would never be made today. Because the climax of the Mr. Toad's Wild Ride is that Mr. Toad goes to hell. Like, he literally goes to hell. He is sentenced, and he's found guilty in a court of law for like basically disturbing the peace and just being a complete asshole and like destruction of property and all kinds of shit. And then after he's found guilty, he's hit by a train, like with the train like hits you as Mr. Toad in the car that represents Mr. Toad's automobile. And then you go to hell, and that's the end of the ride. Like, he's just in hell now. The end. It's the craziest shit. And it's like, and then it's just like he's in hell, and there's like a demon going like, you're guilty. And then the ride just ends, and then you're back outside, and the music is like, boop, 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 boop. And there's literally no resolution to the fact that this like inconsiderate asshole was sent to hell, and that's the end of the ride, and he's the protagonist of the story. So it's very, I love it. I love that ride. It's outrageous, and there's just no way anyone would make a kid's ride like that now, because people would just feel very weird about it, understandably. But I love that bizarre fucking thing exists. All right, so now I'm going to start going underground. So let's turn on auto tunnel. And the reason I'm tunneling down like this is because I want to, speaking of Mr. Toad, I want to make a ride where you go to hell, because I love that ride. Track limits exceeded. I never understand. Okay. Another hallmark of dark rides is that they are often like squeeze a lot of square footage into a very tiny area by doubling back around themselves like this. So you'll have like a wall, say, right here, so you can use a very small footprint and get two totally different scenes. Like this segment of the curve and this segment of the curve could be totally different scenes with totally different decor and lighting and everything, because they're separated by a wall here, and here at the sort of center of the arc there would be a door that like that you like push through, so to speak. It's on a trigger, so it opens as you get to it, and it divides these two spaces, so you can have two totally different scenes while only using a very small amount of space. So all of the Fantasyland dark rides are all squeezed into very, very small footprints. It's another hallmark of dark rides, is kind of winding around and using space in a really clever way. So it's going to also try and do on this ride. God, I went really far underground, huh? Really wish there were a way to see that. So this is the really hard part, is connecting this stuff. God, why can that not autocomplete? They're so close to one another. Fiona says, I've only been to Alton Towers in the UK. All you US folks are so lucky to have amazing parks on both coasts. Yeah, no, it's true. I mean, especially I'm lucky in California. I mean, we're in Northern California, so it's still a plane. Disneyland is still a plane ride away, but it is a short plane ride. You know, it's like an hour and a half. And it is great. And you know what's funny is I've only developed an appreciation for it in my adult life. When I was younger, I never really, I didn't dislike it or anything, but I don't think I got it the way that I do now. Okay, I'm gonna have to undo a little bit of this. Okay, I'm gonna have to undo even more of this. All right, I think I'll be able to do it this time. This is very difficult. Okay, here we go. I think I have enough leeway now to make this work finally. Yeah, look at that, perfect. Turn off auto tunnel. There we go, perfect. All right, that was a bigger footprint than I wanted, but then I ended up kind of, God, that is going to be tough. It's going to be tough to cover this all up. I guess I'll just put some other stores and stuff in front here to kind of cover that up, and we'll figure out how to make better use of the space. But I do here have what I assume to be a lot of usable space on top of this ride. Let's actually confirm that that's even true. So we can see the light outline of that ride down there. Is it possible to just put stuff right on top? I really hope it'll let us. If not, that ruins my plans. It is. It totally is. Okay, so we can just build stuff on top of here. So now we have this like whole complicated ride, and hopefully you won't be able to see any of it from outside, because this stuff will hopefully be covered in another building facade, and then this stuff will be covered with a mountain. So this is what I was trying to get at earlier. Like, I want to just cover. Oh, is it not going to let me cover it up? Okay, it will, but it has to get pretty high. So how high does this have to get to cover it up? Okay, so yeah, see, so I'm not going to do it all now, but the idea is that this side of the park will have, you know, just a big hill. So when you're here, you just sort of see foliage climbing up a mountain, and then when you're on the train, you'll enter out onto kind of this little hill or mountain, and then the train will slope down here. I'm going to rebuild the train track. So that is what I'm going to do. So let me just undo this for now, because it'll be tougher to build out this ride with all that earth. And in fact, you know what? I might even burrow into the, like, do the opposite of this, just so I can see what just so I can, like, build, and then I'll go back and I can go back and raise the ground back up when I'm done, but I just don't know how I'm going to build the ride without being able to see everything, so I'm going to do that for now. God, the crazy thing about this is that this must be what this stuff actually, must be what this stuff actually looks like when they're building these parks, because you know, they have to dig huge holes to build this shit, so they can actually construct the stuff in the first place, and then they have to sort of, like, do infill over it once they're done. That's what's been going on in, like, Star Wars Land, for instance, which, much to my dismay, is being constructed in Disneyland, and there's just a bunch of just holes and mounds of dirt there right now. Oh, look at this little floating chunk of earth. How do I get rid of you? There we go. Oops. Just another little piece. Oh. God. How do I kill it? This better not somehow prevent me from making something, because it's, like, colliding with something somewhere. Well, whatever. Okay. Oh, someone said that looks like a seagull. You're right. That's a bird. The game is still paused. I was trying to terraform a bird. What's up, buddy? Vajazzercise says that's a bird whose habitat you destroyed. M. Burdett says, I'm going to Disneyland for a day in January. Which single park is the best to hit? Definitely Disneyland. Definitely Disneyland. California Adventure is cool, but if you have not spent a lot of time in Disneyland, that park is so much more important, and there's just so much more stuff in it. There's just no contest. I totally appreciate California Adventure, and there are a lot of things in it that I like, but it's also getting worse, unfortunately. Like, California hit its peak, I would say, like, last year. It used to be a lot worse. It's gotten a lot better over the last decades, but they're making it worse again, sadly, which is really sad. But if you can only go to one park, go to Disneyland. It's just more essential in a lot of ways. Okay, so let's see. What am I going... Oh, he said he's actually going to World, the Florida park. I've never been to Disney World, so I don't know. Sorry. I do not know. Yeah. DC Actual says, isn't California Adventure where the Avatar thing is? No, that is in Florida, actually. That is in Disney World, and that is in Animal Kingdom, I think, in Florida. I've never been to the Florida parks. But yeah, that's where that's going to be. Not in California. All right, so I have to start figuring out how to encase the rest of this stuff. Willhouse says, Chris, have you ever been to Knott's Berry Farm? I have not. Totally haven't. Well, I guess actually before I even start encasing this stuff, I need to figure out what... I should maybe just start... Well, let me think. What is the best way to do this? Maybe I think what I'm going to do first is build a really basic... I'm just going to build a fairly bland enclosure for the park, or for the ride, so that I have stuff to, like, decorate. I think the problem is right now, there's just nothing to, like, there's no constraint to work inside of. So let's just make a new building. Well, we can dress it up later, but for now, we can just start putting something together. What am I looking for? Castle wall, probably? So the castle wall, that's that style, the style that's over here. And then this is, I think this is limestone plaster. I wonder if there's something I can kind of... Okay, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to extend this building a little bit first. And then I am going to start making a new building at like a 45-degree angle off of here with a different building material. That is what I'm going to do. God, I've been having a hell of a time getting all the heights of all this stuff to line up. It's been really frustrating. Can't tell why I keep getting off grid. I don't know if I'm doing something wrong or if I'm just hitting some weird behavior or what, but it is very, very frustrating. Is that actually correct? I just can't tell. What is going on? Oh my God. Okay. So, oh my God, is this, okay. Yeah, that's correct. So I'm just going to duplicate those there just to give myself the sort of same framing that I had before. And then these will go over here. And these will go over here. And then that'll go there. That'll go there. Okay. So that is that building. And I mean, I guess I can really quickly reproduce all of this detail since it's all just kind of, it's not that interesting because it's also, I just sort of, everything is so repetitive. But that also means it's incredibly easy to just really quickly duplicate. Actually, you know what? I'm going to do with the... I can actually grab all of this stuff. Do. Just gotta get it lined up exactly right. Okay, there we go. And then let's grab this. Okay. Again, I know I keep saying it, but this is such a just like calming, relaxing, meditative process. Just kind of going through these motions. All right. So there's that. This stuff probably needs a lot more detail, but that's okay. It's okay for now. So let's make just a totally brand new building, and I'm going to put it on, you know what, maybe this should come out one more tile. Because if the other one is coming out at a 45-degree angle, I don't know. It just seems like I'm going to need this. Let's see. Actually, I guess I technically need two. Shit. Sorry. Sure, I'm forgetting something. Yep, a couple walls. And this thing. And then we'll... Oops. Goes there. Copy that. Okay. Actually, I don't know if I'm going to want these roof pieces yet. But let's see. So I think the building is now going to go to 45-degree angle this way. And I don't know exactly how that's going to work, but this might end up being a failed attempt. So I don't know. We'll see. Let's try making a new building. So to start from scratch, let's see what kind of wall do we want. So castle walls being used over, obviously, on the castle. I guess not obviously. Wouldn't have to be. Maybe I want the stucco walls. I'm using the limestone walls over here. There's concrete, sandstone, smooth concrete, stucco. I think stucco is what I want. It's very similar to what I already have, but is just a different shade than the limestone. How is this? Okay, I'm just gonna have to think through my plan and see if it's actually even if it even makes any sense. Foom says it feels to me like the balcony should wrap around that corner onto the new side. I think you're completely right about that. I will go back and deal with that later, but I agree. Okay. Maybe instead of one building, this should be sort of... You know, this building doesn't have to actually be that big because this hill is going to come up around here. So really, for now, I shouldn't actually build out the whole building. I should just build a wall to kind of start defining the shape of this space. And I might end up moving the building around a little bit. Oops, I'm in the wrong part of the grid. Okay, that's what I want. Okay. So yeah, that's already sort of coming into where that hill's going to be. Okay. So, this is obviously a completely fake building. I just need to start defining constraints for this ride. So now you can see this ride is already starting to have walls. The other walls are on the other side can be basically entirely fake. They don't really have to correspond to anything. Because in theory, no one should be able to see them. So I'm just going to start kind of building this is I don't really know what I'm doing here. I'm trying to sort of figure this out as I go. So I apologize if it ends up being a disaster. Maybe it already is, but that's okay. We'll just see what happens. Fiona says some of Chris's windows have Wii shutters, some don't. Yeah, that's true. Oh, yeah. Whoops. That's because here these were just going to be the ones on the balcony, and they're going to have their own style. But then obviously that didn't end up carrying through, so I'm going to have to just rethink that whole decision. I'll go back and do that later. Mark Hoog has a bad feeling about this. Yeah, well, that may well be justified. We're just going to have to see. All right, let's see. I guess I should build a second story onto this. Maybe though, maybe it should be shorter, just for some variety. I guess the real way to do this would be, well, I don't know. I don't know what the actual best way to plan something like this is. I guess this is what's really hard about planning, about designing a theme park, is that you have to create a bunch of space that is super duper functional, but in a completely different way than how it looks, right? Like all of these, like all of the buildings you see in a theme park are supposed to look like real buildings. Well, at least in a place like Disneyland, are supposed to look like real buildings that have their own function, but really the function they're serving is just hiding a bunch of crazy machinery and ride tracks and stuff. So you have to come up with stuff that looks architecturally sound, but actually is just like hiding a bunch of space. All right, so let's see. Maybe I need to start another building here at another grid angle. I think I do. Okay. So this I'm not imagining. I don't imagine this building that I'm making starting right now. Oops, it should have been 4 meters. I don't imagine this is going to be something the public sees. I'm hoping this will be just covered up by hills. That would be the idea, anyway. I know this stuff doesn't all match up, but I don't think that should matter, because I'm just gonna have to put a shitload of like scenery and stuff in here that is the actual ride. So I'm hoping that won't matter all that much. I also have no idea what this ride's going to be, so that's a big question mark. right now I'm just trying to get a framework that we can create a ride inside of, and then we'll see. Well, the framework to make the ride inside of, and then I want to do the terraforming to just confirm that my idea even makes sense at all, and then I'll just have to figure out what what ride actually goes inside of it. That remains to be seen. Okay. This is going to get really crazy once it starts sinking down into the ground. I guess what I should be doing actually is building these walls really, really deep. It's because the ride ends up going so far underground. You know what I should do? I should turn the music up. God, since I'm being so quiet, I should let y'all hear the actual game, huh? Let me know if if that soundtrack is okay. Oops, it's a little loud. At least it's loud for me. All right. Okay. I'm actually, before I build all the rest of these walls, I'm just gonna build these ones down, since I'm gonna need it anyway, or at least in some places I will. This is this feels crazy to be doing this. This feels like intense planning and construction, considering I don't really know what I'm working towards. Okay. God, this is going to be a tough terraforming job too, I suspect. I am not great with those tools. Guess this should go even lower, huh? Oops. This music is so pleasant. All right, this has to go a lot lower. I might break this up with some landscaping at some point because that is so relaxing and so much less logistically complicated. I just know how to do it because all you're doing is putting trees on the ground. Okay. Should switch over to the other angle here. Oops. Is this not the building I'm in? Why is it not auto placing? It's weird that it's not jumping to the top. I don't understand what's going on. That one is. No, it's not. Don't really understand what's happening right now. Let me put grid height back to 4. Is that correct? Are these different buildings or something? I don't understand what... They're operating very differently. Sorry for just rambling about nothing. Oof. Let's try this again. What is going on? I also fucked up my grid somehow. Why is that off grid? Boy, that is a bummer. What did I do? Why is it bad? Oh my God. What? Sorry for just not knowing what I'm talking about. I just, this 45-degree angled grid, it just doesn't seem to be, stuff doesn't seem to be like on, stuff is just not interacting in the grid the way that other, the other grid pieces are, and the non 45-degree angle one are, and I don't understand what is going on. It's freaking me out. Let's just try copying this entire thing here. Oh, it's fine. Oh. Okay, there's that. Let's do it that way from now on. That's fine. That works. Where's that going? Here we go. Okay, let's do this wall now. God, this is so weird. This thing is just strange. Okay. Well, that all works. So now I just need to, I guess, I'll duplicate this huge wall, maybe. This music is so funny. It sounds like a twee version of something on Dark Side of the Moon. All right, so this kind of works because this room is getting bigger now. So we get down underground and we can have some big crazy set piece, and then we'll come back above ground. Or when I say underground, I mean in hell. So this is also going to have to be a different facade over here, but I maybe won't worry about that for now. I'll just put the walls up and we can figure out what the actual facade is going to be later. It doesn't really matter at this point. Okay, I mean this is really simple and dumb, but that's fine. And I can just copy this whole thing and paste it to go down lower. I haven't been paying as close attention to chat as I should, given how little I'm doing. So I apologize if I missed any subscriptions. I don't think I did, but if I did and I didn't call you out, I apologize. We do appreciate those. They're pretty cool. As a reminder, also, if you're subscribed for free through Twitch Prime, you do have to re-up those every month. They don't auto-renew. Just a heads up if you're doing that. Okay. I think this is pretty complete just in terms of coverage. Oh wait, no. No. Super big, crucial final wall in between, separating the sort of loop back here. That is important. Neither of those is super ideal. I guess this one's better, and I'll just sort of carve out the parts of it that intersect with the building. That's fine. I'll deal with that later. Well, I'll put this here for now, and I'll probably end up deleting it later. Oh, what is going on? Okay. Mark Hoog says, oh man, putting a roof on all this is going to be actual hell. You are not kidding. You are not kidding about that. Fortunately, it doesn't really have to be a real roof. It can just be planks. And I'll just have to decorate the inside of it. Actually, you know what I should do is actually, because this stuff is going to be hill, this stuff can actually have a higher roof. So I should build these walls to be at least 1 story taller. Oh, although I guess I wanted to have the train coming. Oh, fuck me. Oh, well, I guess it's fine. Oh, Jesus. Why does this have its own grid? I thought if it's on a building, shouldn't it? It's kind of confusing. I guess this whole area shouldn't be super tall because I did want. Oh my God! Stop. Because I did want the train to be sloping downward. You know what I'm going to do for now? I am going to go into this train track and get rid of these supports because they are messing me up. I know that doesn't make any sense, but it ultimately won't matter because eventually this will be filled in ground and building, and these supports will have no reason to exist anyway. And so for the time being, this just makes it easier for me to work. Okay. Let's try this again. Hey, Dreckelberg just subscribed to Twitch Prime. Thank you, Dreckelberg. Thank you very much. All right. A fellow linguist says, do the stanchions get deleted when you put a roof on or just something in their way? I think there's just a bunch of tests that are going on to see if it should draw the supports, just depending on what's underneath them. You can also, as you can see, manually turn them off. I'm going to eventually redo this whole section of track because I want it to conform better to ultimately the terrain that ends up here. So I just kind of have turned some of it off to make it easier to work around, to work underneath, I mean. But yeah, if you don't turn them off, it does sort of a dynamic test based on stuff underneath. So I'm not exactly sure what all factors go into that, but there are factors that go into it. All right. Let's find a stucco roof. Stucco roof, flat, rounded. Oh no. Okay. This, as someone said, is going to be a pain in the ass. God, I apologize for the intensely boring stream. I really didn't think this through, apparently. It did not occur to me just how fucking boring this was going to be. I mean, it's not boring for me because I'm actually doing the thing, but I'm sure it is not fun for you folks. So after I make some progress on this roof, I'm going to go do something that has slightly more immediate results, which is landscaping, which I know is also kind of boring, but you know what? That is what you signed up for by joining the stream for some calm ass shit. The cool thing about this, to the extent that you could describe this as cool, which is, you know, a bit of a stretch, is that it is actually starting to look like hilarious theme park operations buildings, which are always just big, stupid rectangles, because either you're not supposed to see them because they're hidden behind other stuff, or they are covered up in really intense theming. But this is what all those... They have... Theme parks have so many buildings that just look like this. There's just... They just obscure it one way or another. Why can I not place it? Boy, that's annoying. Oh, whoops, those are not placed right at all. That was weird. My bad. Okay, that's what I want. Getting there. So this will slowly start tapering down the hill. Basically, that's what's going on there. See, so even now, even though there's nothing in here, as you go in here, you can start seeing how, like, okay, this is a space that you can now decorate, right? You can put shit on the walls. You can put lights in here. Oops, look at that little piece of land. And you can start understanding, like, what is all going to, like, not necessarily what's going to be in there, but I think my plan is starting to be, like, proven not horrible entirely, right? Like, you can kind of see what I'm getting at, hopefully, here. Like, you can see how this could turn into a space that could be themed, even if right now there's nothing really going on. Quadragon Golbez says, do you have any ideas on what you might theme it as, or are you just building the foundation and hoping inspiration will strike? You know, I'm actually now regretting that I made it a powered automobile ride rather than a log flume ride, because now, after the conversation earlier that had me mentioning that Pirates of the Caribbean is the greatest ride, which it is, I'm now regretting that it's not going to be a pirate ride. But that's okay. I don't know. I don't know yet what I want it to be. If anyone has any ideas, for what it's worth, I'm not trying to make like sort of a wacky or Idle Thumbs themed park, because Nick is already doing that, so it kind of feels redundant. Also, it just doesn't really fit with what I started doing, which is, you know, a super densely themed Disneyland style entrance facade. So I don't know. I mean, it could really be anything. There's no, but it is a car. It is an automobile. And my original starting inspiration was Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, which is based on a movie I've never even actually seen, which is the animated adaptation of The Wind in the Willows, right? Or no, is it The Wind in the? Yeah, it's The Wind in the Willows. Yeah, that's Mr. Toad. I was thinking Watership Down, but that's a different thing. And that is like, you know, kind of set in kind of a goofy London kind of thing. But I don't know if that's necessarily what I'm going to be doing. We'll just have to see. You know, honestly, here's the thing about this game. A lot of it, I think, is actually going to depend on, like, just what do they have. Like, I might just have to look at... I might just have to look at, like, what stuff, like, what animatronics do they have? What scenery do they have? And from that point, say, okay, well, here are some potential avenues to explore, right? Like, that might actually be, on a practical level... the attitude to take. And I just haven't done very much of that because I've been focusing on the, you know, facades and buildings and stuff, so. All right. Well, that roof is fine because we're already basically inside. There's just a little gap that needs to be filled, but We can cross that when we start actually decking out this building a little more. We'll just cover that up with whatever. This is crazy looking, but again, hopefully will be covered up by theming or just terrain. This part might be underground. I'm not sure yet. But those intersections shouldn't really matter. You know what I could do is I could just make this wall just so I don't need to solve that problem later. I can just cover this up right now, actually. There we go. Yeah, now we're all closed up. Oh, that part's not even visible to guests anyway. Oh well, it's fine. Oh yeah, there it is. All right, so we go through here. We're all covered up, all covered up, all covered up. And then we need wall, something to fix this shit. This is so janky. Good lord. There we go. That's what I want. Foom says, I'm learning from the stream to never build anything at 45-degree angles away from each other. Yeah, I know. I don't really regret it, though, because I don't really know what other option I would have had. Like, if everything's a 90-degree angle, then it's just really hard to make, like, a track design that's good. I don't know. I know what you mean, though. God, where's the one I'm looking for here? Oh, here we go. Wooden post. That's what I want. Wooden post. Oh, wow. That is not as big as I thought it was going to be. Okay. That's not going to solve my problem. Thick wooden beam, maybe? God, I might just have to put a bunch of these fuckers down. This will work. Again, very janky, but it will cover this gap. Fortunately, the duplication tools are fairly serviceable. So once you have something down, it's pretty easy to just sort of sequentially keep copying, pasting it, and the task gets faster and faster. And I just noticed my walls don't go low enough. Alright, that's that. Oh, these actually look fine. I mean, they look kind of weird when they're all overlapped, but it kind of looks like just weird construction. Not the end of the world. So. Oops, a little hole there. Where is that? Shit, I lost it. There it is, okay. Let's see, how do I cover this shit up? Guess it depends where in the grid we are. I guess I could just... Fuck. I guess I could just put more posts there. Fuck it. Posts. Alright, whatever. Very dumb, but it works. I'm digging this goofy music. All right, close enough. It's fine. All right, I think we're all enclosed here. All right. God, I'm so excited to be done putting down ceilings, you guys. But not as excited as you are. This is a huge room. Oh, God. Oh, ah! Ah! Oh, I can put it over here. That's actually what I want. Let's destroy these. You know what? I'm just going to make this wall a little bit thicker, too. Oh, no, I can't. Fuck. Just going to have to place even more roof tiles. Fuck. Is there a better way I can do that? Yeah, you know what? There is. I'm going to do it. That way these aren't going to clip through those ceiling tiles. It'll be a little bit less gross. Oh. Damn it. God, I guess when you move, you can only move on the 4 grid. You can't move on the 2 wide grid. That is annoying. That is very, very annoying. You can only move on the smaller grid when you're first placing objects, not when you're copying or moving them. That is frustrating. God, they do not want you to use that finer grained grid. They really don't. Alright, there we go. That's fine. Oh my god, I'm so close to having fucking ceilings on everything. Fuck. So this did not leave as much usable space as I was hoping. I built these ceilings way higher than I should have, and now I don't have as much usable space in my park. Maybe I should try and address that. I entirely forgot about that goal, which is stupid. Still not going to be what I was hoping for. Oh. God, I should just realize I haven't saved in a long time. I'm just going to save just to be sure. Oh man. Okay, stucco. Oh. Okay. Okay, this part can be a lot lower as well, because it is the lowest point of the entire ride. Well, let's see. Yeah, I think that can be, maybe not the entire way, but certainly to here, let's say, can be lowered. Okay, and this part can too. Oh, actually all of this wall can because it's all the same section. Duh. Except that's sticking through. Don't want that. Yeah, definitely don't want that. So this whole area should move in to there. And then we will select it all. That'll go down to there. Let's see how gross this looks. Probably quite gross. Yeah, it's pretty gross. What do I do about that? I know what to do about that. Delete those, go into this building, and put roofs here. And here we need some wooden posts, classic wooden posts. Where was that? Where was that leak? Here it is. Oh man, this is so much more work than I was anticipating, but so be it. All right, that's a lot closer to ground level. It'll still have to be raised a little bit, but not by as much. Okay. Ah. What am I doing? Ah, shit. Fuck. Oh, I see. It's intersecting. Oh, right. It's intersecting with the path. Fuck, of course. Yeah. Oh, god damn it. Now I'm off the grid. Okay, so that works. So it's just enough room to kind of squeeze in through here. Well, we might end up having to adjust that later, but that's okay. I just need to close this up. Okay, there's that. Oops. Okay. And I don't really know what the ceiling on this should. We'll leave the ceiling off for this because I don't know what I don't know if it's going to be part of that. It's probably not going to be part of that building. It'll probably be a different building. Actually, I guess I should build a wall under here. Oh. God, it is so hard to get this stuff right. Okay, there we go. Oh, go in there, please. Okay. Okay. All right, look at that. So we now have a, Fiona says, with 1 bit, Chris, get us a gander at the front of your park at nighttime. Yeah, I will totally do that. Let's just, let's actually take a test ride through this just to make sure. Oops, see, it's already fucked up. Well, actually, no, the ground will come up to meet that, so that's actually not fucked up, that gap. That's okay. Look at all this shit poking through. I'll have to do I'll have to go back and fix all that crap later. Or I could just put decor on top of it. Anyway, let's do a test run through this thing just to make sure that it works. Does it go? How do you make it? How do you make the test start? Will it not test if there's no entrance and exit, or what? I actually have not. I haven't done a lot of this, so I'm not sure. Okay, let's just do that. Let's put down an entrance and exit real quick. This queue, I'll make a real queue later, but for now, just to get it working fine, whatever. Okay, so why is it not? Oh, I didn't. The game's on pause. Duh. Okay. So let's go in there. There we go. All right. Oh, there's already a hole. We already found a hole. Oh, no, that's not a real hole. That'll be fixed. That's just because the buildings aren't. That building's not real yet. Everyone's pointing out to me that I was paused. Yep. Sorry. Oh my god, this is going to be a long ride. Oops, got a little hole right there. Fascinating, exciting, thrilling. This actually, funny thing, oh god, look at that creepy fucking thing. Oh my god, I'm a creepy fucking thing. The cool thing about this is that all these little windy curves going around these densely packed rooms, this actually does feel like a Fantasyland dark ride. It's just lit up and empty and boring. But layout-wise, this actually totally is what these rides feel like. You're in these kind of very cramped buildings, curving around corners and looping back on yourself. Whoops, looks like there's a hole. And this is totally what the layout of these rides feels like. All right, that's a big hole to fix for sure. This will be cool when it goes underground even more. It's kind of a good vibe. Fiona says Mr. Toad's haunted mine. That's actually not a like. Maybe some kind of mine theme, or maybe you go down into a mine during this part. I'm excited to eventually start theming it out. All right. So there's a couple holes, but it's actually not that bad. It's pretty much plugged up. All right, and here's the classic approach to the conclusion. Cool. All right. So let me just okay, so there's a hole right here. So you know what, I can just fix this with wood, honestly. It's going to be easier, I think, than dealing with the ceiling tiles. What am I doing? Yeah. Oops, it's nighttime. Daytime again. There must be some setting where it just skips daytime entirely, because that's always really weird when that happens. All right, that's fine. I mean, it's actually, you know what? I might as well finish it off. They have nice sound occlusion. It sounds really good when audio is being muffled on the other side of a wall. It does sound really good. All right, that's fine. Then there was one more really big hole that was just a straight up missing a ceiling tile that was just totally missing. Yeah, right here. Yeah, oh no, a wall. It's a wall that was missing actually. Okay. There we go. All right, so this thing I know looks fucking shitty as a hell. This isn't great either. Oh no, that's just because it's ground that's missing. I know this looks like garbage currently, and might for a long time, but you know, eventually there's room to put a real themed ride in there. And the cool thing is, from here you can see how this is going to be easy to cover up, because from the outside it's just a couple walls that aren't even that high, so we can take care of a lot of this just with terrain, and then this part over here will just sort of, you know, extend the theming of this building or a slightly different building, and then that will that'll do it. Actually, the thing that sucks about having to deal with the terrain here is I suspect, I'm going to find out real soon, I think this is actually going to be a real pain in the ass. I think the terrain doesn't care about walls. In fact, I know it doesn't. So if I pull this up, yeah, I'm going to have to, oh god, that is going to be such a pain in the ass to deal with. So I'm going to have to sort of sculpt around the walls. Oh my god, look how huge this thing is. Wow. I guess what I'm going to have to do is sort of sculpt here and then go inside the building and push the terrain back away. Like if I go in here, see I have this like rock just busting into the ride. So I'm going to have to pull the terrain up, then go in and kind of do some housekeeping. I think is essentially what's going to have to happen. But the nice thing is the walls will serve as a really easy guideline for where I should be pushing sort of excavating to, which is nice. ZGTC just subscribed with Twitch Prime for 3 months in a row. Thank you. Thank you very much. We appreciate that. Oh, scenery lock. Deformation. Someone in chat just pointed this out. Danny Boy Wizard pointed out scenery lock. Let's see if that actually does what I want it to do. Oh, it totally does. Oh my god, perfect. Oh my god. Holy crap. Thank you so much, Danny Boy Wizard, for noticing the option that I did not notice. Oh man, that'll make this useful. So it kind of gives you a little bit of a buffer around the edge here. That is perfect. That is exactly what I want. Look at that. It's even grosser now. Oh my god, that is brilliant. Brilliant. I'll clean that stuff up later in there, but for now I can start doing this much more easily. Oh my god, that is a lifesaver. I can't even believe it. It's tough. It requires kind of a wide berth, but oh god, that is useful. That means I can have the maximum size brush and not even worry about it. God, it really looks like some kind of fucking alien fucking nano shit is just engulfing everything. It's going to take a long time to draw this all. And I think the slope is going to be a lot steeper than I was hoping it was going to be. That's too bad. This is going to take some doing, for sure. I might have to not use scenery lock for all of this because it requires so much extra space that it's actually going to... it's not going to leave as much usable space as I was hoping for, but we can definitely use it for a while, just to get the sort of big space to then build around. I guess I don't actually want this all to be hill because this is going to be a real building. So I'll just bring the terrain up and then I'll carve out the stuff I don't want, I suppose. Oh no! There's no roof on that, so I just fucking owned myself. It needs a roof in order to respect the building, it looks like. That's actually smart. That's really smart that it does that. So it's got to be a little bit more careful about that. I'm going to pull this up a little bit and then... There we go. Perfect. It's just high enough to get this gross alien goo all over here. Create some ground for me. Oh no! Oh no, I'm ruining it. Fuck, why is it ruining it? Shit. I'll have to learn how this works. God, I don't know how I'm going to do this. This is going to be difficult. You have to kind of mash undo in order to undo this stuff with any efficiency, it looks like. Oh no, did I reach the end of the undo buffer? Shit. Now I just have a fucking weird zone. Yeah, I think I ran out of undo. Well, this is going to require some creative terraforming. Probably okay to leave some terrain under here because it's supposed to be underground, so it doesn't really matter if there's some terrain, but I definitely want it to be more clear than not. God, I do not know how I'm going to do this. I might have to solve this problem off stream so that I don't have to put you guys through this like excruciating problem solving. But I will have to figure something out. All right. Well, for now, for the latecomers to the stream, let's go in and just show everyone what this park looks like at night. It's not gonna look. It's gonna look a little bit less cool now that there's all this just weird, unfinished, like alien growth everywhere. But we can. Let's give you the tour. So here is where's where people first walk in. Let's make it 10 p.m. All right, so here we go. So this is the weird tunnel. I don't know why it starts in a tunnel, but that's just how this map starts. So you come out through the tunnel into the zone. You see this my cool facade. This is what I started with. This little thing right here was the thing that started this park and sort of established, I guess, the style and tone. And I just got really excited about it. You can see you have these indulgently lit trees on either side as you walk in. You walk over what is now a moat that I created the other day. And you can see it's lots of foliage. I love the way the light reflections look in water. That was a big part of why I made this a moat. I just love that. That's the thing that Disneyland does really well. Sky is great too. So you can see our little zone. Look at that beautiful moon. Oh, and you can see now also our train nicely illuminated above the facade up there thanks to the lighting work we did on today's stream. So you walk on in through our little hall here. Coming out, you can see our nice carousel just ahead. You can see our two little tower buildings here. We'll go up the exit for the train because it's not populated. Put all these little lanterns down just to make sure the stairway is illuminated. Here's our cool train, our steam locomotive. And if we exit through the entrance, you can see our sleeping dragon, our illuminated sleeping dragon in that tower. You can't really fully see from the ground. So we are going to go down. She asks, is that a working train or a scenery train? It is a working train. I just have the game paused. Let's unpause the game. So you can see, oops. You can see the train leave the station. Oh, it's in test mode right now. I should actually put it into operations mode so people get on it. It'll come back and then pick up people this time. So we'll go down the stairs. And if you if you don't go up the stairs, if instead you go around this little pathway, you get to this nice little, just sort of alcove that I made with this little pond and this tree and a waterfall. The waterfall doesn't really come through at night. The waterfall comes through a lot better in the daytime. You get a kind of a nice little shot of the backside of the castle facade all lit up. And I just love this little kind of private area. There's no ride back here, so people don't come here very much. So it's just a cool little. And you know what? This rock wall is actually working for me. You know, maybe not exactly as is, but as we build out this rock wall more into a hill, I actually think it. It's going to look fine if that's what it looks like, and we can kind of put some shrub and brush in the way that I have in this rocky waterfall. I think that'll work out. And then this we can theme to look like a real building with windows and stuff like that, so that'll be fine. Anyway, you can exit out here, and then here we are in front of our carousel, guarded by these knights, and you can go through the queue, nicely decorated queue. And then we get into the increasingly less decorated part of the park. Here is the very bare facade for the ride that we've been working on tonight. Very, very distressingly ominous inside there. But yeah, that's what we have so far. God, this is such a good looking ride. There's also, all the way over here, I didn't show this tonight. Oh God, yes, train coming out, perfect. So the train coming out through the tunnel, through this waterfalled mountain with this sort of illuminated base of the waterfall here. It's a blobby mountain. It's going to require a lot more set dressing in terms of shrubs and brush and rocks and things like that. But yeah, that's the park. Here's a bird's eye view so far. The train line. Someone is asking about the train line. The train line goes around the park so far. Not quite the perimeter, because there's a lot of area out here that we could build in. And I deliberately didn't make the train be a true perimeter, but it pretty much goes around the park. There's another station over there and just a little ride over there so that people have a reason to take the train. But yeah, this is this is really the part of the park that we have so far, and that's what it looks like. And asks, can you have multiple stops for the train? You totally can. So here's our sort of Main Street station, and then you can follow it around over the lake. I know this is really bad. It's just totally undecorated right now. And there is another station over here, and I actually put a gap in the trail so that in order to ride this ride, you have to take the train. So we know that all of these people have taken the train to get here. There's another train station. I just slammed this stuff in really, really fast. I don't know what is actually going to be in this part of the park yet, but these people are done, so they're going to have to get back on the train to go back to the main section. You can see the train slowly heading over here. So yeah, that is all we have so far. Let's put this into. I'm gonna sign off because it's late and I'm getting kind of tired. But let's put this into briefly put this into ultra mode. I don't really know if it's gonna actually look any different. It's gonna tank the frame rate, but if we just kind of take some still shots, so to speak, it shouldn't really matter. I don't really know if it's like noticeably different. Oh, I guess the lighting is a little more complex. But yeah, there's a nice shot of the park. Let's go look at the entrance. I guess the frame rate's not hurting too bad. It's not great, but it doesn't really matter for a game like this. Probably. I love this with that moat and the reflections in the water and everything. I should maybe make this path a little more detailed. I might put like tree planters and stuff in this path, especially the part that's not the actual bridge, just to kind of break it up a bit. I love this building. It's actually a first aid building with all of the vines and kind of shrubbery and everything. And as you can see, I did this part of the park, the left side, before I've gotten around to doing the right side yet. So this stuff is all much less detailed. Oh, let's get a daytime shot of this little zone, because the waterfall looks much nicer in the daytime, actually. Yeah, so you can actually see the waterfall cascade in the daytime. Antius or Anitus says, I really admire you for being able to design and build this because it's well beyond what I would ever want to do. Well, I have to say, I mean, thank you very much. I have to say, wanting to do it is I think the only reason I did it. I was able to do it because I am not an artist at all, and I think I suspect that someone who's a better artist than I am could probably have created this in a lot less time. You know, like really, all I did was just spend a really goddamn long time on every part of this and just pay extreme attention to detail. And I have to say, doing this has actually made me really want to do more environment art and environment design in my actual day job, which is as a video game developer, which I've never done. But this has been so much fun. And our environment artist at work, Jane, tells me that actually a lot of her job is essentially doing, you know, the kind of stuff I'm doing in this game, which is just placing stuff that's already been created. Like, I'm never going to be a real artist like Jane is, to the point where like she actually models stuff herself, models and textures it. But a lot of, after she's done a lot of the modeling and texturing, a lot of it is just placing stuff that's already created, and that's really what I've been doing. Danny Boy Wizard says, is the foliage all hand placed? Yes, it is all goddamn hand placed, including all of these. These are all, this isn't, like, there's the default grass, which is just kind of this flat textured green. And then all the areas that I've done have all of these like placed shrubs, and then the rocks and all these individual bushes and stuff. All these rocks are hand placed, and trees, obviously. It's extremely time consuming, but also really just kind of fun and relaxing. Fiona says, so you're saying that Jane would be a park wizard? Yes, I suspect Jane would clean up with this game. I'm sure Jane would be a lord with Planet Coaster for sure. Whereas I am just sort of, I'm like brute forcing it. I'm just like deciding that I'm going to make something that looks good, so I'm just doing it until I get there. Basically, that is the approach I'm taking. But I think in doing so, I'm actually learning to get better at it. Like I'm getting better and better the more I do, and it's actually really rewarding. It really feels like I'm learning something. I mean, I don't know how applicable it is because it's not actually my job at work, but maybe I can start to dip into it a little bit more than I have. And I think this has been like a really sort of safe way to like try and push those skills a little bit without having to worry about fucking up a real game we're working on. So Quadragon Golbez says, you're internalizing, Chris. It's true. I totally am. I'm totally internalizing. Anyway, I'm going to sign off for now. Made some progress. I apologize for how tedious a lot of the progress today was. I'm sorry about that. I didn't really know what I was doing. I already feel like I've learned a lot about this. I will probably try and figure out a bunch of the terrain stuff alone, not on a stream, so I don't have to put people through that again. And then hopefully by the time I start another stream, hopefully I will have a better foundation to really start theming up the interior of this ride. Like hopefully about when I come back, we can just get started theming it and not have to worry about all of this terrain shit and everything else. All right, well, thank you everyone for joining me. This has been a lot of fun. Thanks for putting up with the kind of slow stream, but I promised you were in for a relaxing time, and maybe it was too relaxing, but that's what we did. I hope to be back maybe sooner, either with Nick or playing more Hitman or something else. I don't know. We'll have to see. So thanks for joining me. I will see y'all soon.